Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'm going to demonstrate to you how you can navigate between one page of a Xamarin app to another. And towards the end, I'm also going to show you how you can pass value between two of these pages. Okay, let's get started. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to demonstrate, this is my mobile phone, a live mobile phone on my left hand side of the screen. And on the right hand side of the screen, I'll have a Visual Studio running. And I'm going to keep it as generic and as basic as possible. And I'm going to use everything blank and standard as possible so that you can follow. So there's no special code or NuGet in it here. So again, this is Visual Studio 2022. Create new project. In here, I'm going to say mobile app. Next. Okay, and then just keep it generic, a directory. And I'm going to use blank. I'm not going to use flyout because there's a lot of MVV in there, model variables in there. So I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to go blank and create. Okay, once this loads, right, what I'm going to do is that I do have my mobile device hooked up to my computer via USB. So I can actually run this program, a generic program, on my mobile device here. I'm just going to click here and run it just to show you what it looks like. This is what the project looks like with a hot reload, right? Actually, it's connected directly to this Visual Studio. So I'm going to stop it here for now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do is open up your, I'm going to close everything else. Open up your app XAML and go to the C code in it. In here, you'll find main page, new. You're going to have to add new navigation page. And you want to put the new main page into a parenthesis. Okay, once that's done, let's save it. Okay, so we want to navigate from this page to a new page. So we're going to have to add a brand new page in here. Right click on your app and then go add new item. In here, make sure it's content page, not content page C#. And I'm going to keep the name as default, page 1. And add. So the gist of it is that we're trying to navigate from here to here. So and of course you're gonna have to add a button in here. So I'm just gonna double click to open a XAML page for this. And somewhere at the bottom here, maybe say here, I'm gonna add a button. And I'm gonna give the name. And I'm gonna call it nav2 page 1, and I'm just gonna label the button here, that the text that's gonna appear. Say navigate to page 1, right? I'm gonna close it. So one thing that's missing here is the event handler. You're gonna have to add an event handler so you can jump from this page to the other. So if you type click, hit enter, new event handler will come up here, and just press enter here. It will give you a name. They will concatenate your item name, or rather the button name, with click in it. So the beauty of this is that if you press F7 now to go to your C code of your main page, you can see that the event handler is created. If for some reason this event handler is not created, it's mainly because you did not define the name first, followed by creating an event. If you manually create an event without creating a name, that event handler will not be there. It's just a tip. So anyway, if this is not there, just type it in and you're all good. So once that's done, in here you'll be typing a code called navigation push async, and then you'll be instantiating a new page 1 and call the constructor for page 1. That's all you need to do to navigate from main page to to your page 1. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and file save all, and then I'm going to run on my attached Samsung via USB here, and you can see what happens at that is that the same page launches, but this time around you'll see a gray button at the bottom here because I didn't assign a color, and navigate to page, and this is from this button here, and this is the text I was talking about, navigate to page 1. And if I click on this guy here, you can see that it launches page 2, because page 2 is nothing but just simply that. You can change this to, you can see it's live changing, right? So if you go back here, and you click on page 1. Yeah, it took all the changes because we're right now in hot reload. So that's how you do it. That's how you navigate from one page to the other. I'll outline the steps on my comment section. Okay, let's move on to the next section. The next section is to pass variables between this page here to this page here. And this is how you do it. So I'm going to have to stop this because I'm going to have to add some code behind here. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, of course, you're going to have to pass some widgets and variables. So you know what, I'll let it run here. And you can see how hot reloads really work here. So again, we are going to the main page here. And I'm going to add a text box or entry box at the bottom. Entry. And then give it a name, right? So X name. I'm going to call it pass value. Again, this is just a variable name. Once you pass a value, and you can also put a placeholder. Okay, if you don't put anything like that, what it does is that it creates an empty box where it allows you to enter the name, but it's not very pretty, I guess. So normally you put placeholder, and what placeholder does is that allows you to give the user some indication of what to enter. So I say just enter text. You can see all grayed out, and of course you can enter text that way, right? So that's the value you're gonna pass to the next page or content page. Okay, but before you do that, you're gonna have to store this in a session variable. So in order to edit the code behind it, you can't do hot reload here. So over here, say before we navigate, we're gonna assign to a session variable, and then the way to do it will be called application current properties, and then over here you define could be anything, right? It's just a label for the session variable. So I'm just gonna call it some text, or you can call it anything you want, and I'm gonna assign a value to this, and the value is from pass. You see, the thing is that the value I'm gonna try and pass is from this one here, and you can see that although I define as a name, the IntelliSense does not really recognize. The reason for that is because I have not saved it. You can see an asterisk here. You're gonna have to save it, then only then the IntelliSense will recognize your variable name. So just be aware of that. If you don't save it, it's under the same CS of the XAML, it will still not recognize. Moving on. So over here, put dot text, right? So enter. So essentially what you're doing is that I'm going to save it here, passing whatever the user enters on a text box or entry box and saving it as a session variable here. Forget the semicolon here. So when you navigate, you'll be invoking this session variable again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy in the clipboard here. And now I'm gonna go and open your XAML on your page 1, because right now there's no place to display except a label, right? So I'm just going to create a brand new label called label, and again, very important, I like to give it a name. And over here, maybe I'm going to call it received value. This is just a variable name, right? It's like variable name, yeah. So and a text, say I'm just going to say value to land here, something like that. So it's just a default value that will be shown, but let's close this, okay, and make this guy happy. So all I'm doing is I'm creating a label widget and assigning a value in here. But let's press F7 to go into the C code for the page 1 here. In here, when this page gets launched, let's assign a value for that guy, right? Again, I have not saved it yet. You see, I'm trying to invoke receive value. If I try to invoke here, you see that's none, right? So make sure you save it and go back to your C code for that page 1. In here, you type receive. You see how the name get recognized. Receive value text equal. So basically, I'm going to invoke this session variable in here. Paste it. And this session variable, you're gonna have to convert to string, just like that. This is why it looks like the code, right? And this session variable lives as long, it will be alive and available as long as this app is running. As soon as this app terminates or close, this session variable will be cleaned up by the garbage cleaner, right? So let's test the code now. I'm gonna hit play on the Samsung, and so it comes up with main page, and it's got navigation button, which you have seen, and enter text here. And over here, if I type just like that, and I click on navigate to page, you can see that value get transposed over here. I didn't spend too much time aligning and changing font because I want to keep it as simple as possible, just to demonstrate that the values can be transferred, right? So I'm going to go back here, and just as a test, I'm going to type garbage in here, right? Something QWERTY, right? You can see the value is changing. One more test. There you go. So that's how you navigate and exchange values between two pages. If you like this tutorial and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. We'll really appreciate that. Other than that, you have a good day. Bye now.